Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE NXT on September 9th, 2015. And, this week, in the terms of full-on story building going into the NXT TakeOver special, you didn't get much of anything into this one, outside of the continuation of the Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tag Team Tournament, which you got two matches from there. One that was taped in a main arena, and I'll talk about that match a little bit later. And then, of course, one that was taped in the actual Full Sail arena, like where the traditional type of NXT tapings typically happen. But first, we'll go off with the two Divas matches that they put together in there. You had Carmella in there with, I believe it was Peyton Royce, one of the other developmental divas in there. And, they put on a decent match. Carmella's getting actually pretty decent in the ring. Not, anything spectacular by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely can pull off some decent maneuvers in there inside of the ring. I would like to see her expand a little bit more in the terms of how she does, like, obviously she's with Enzo and Cass, so they always do the whole talking thing before the match while they're doing their entrance. I would like to see her expand upon that a little bit more in some way. Obviously not maybe just come up with some kind of catchphrase or something, but come up with a little bit more to talk about other than just what she normally goes out there and does. So obviously, in terms of storyline, had nothing to do with anything in there. You had Dana Brooke going up, I believe, against Billie Kay. I forget the last name. It was the person that went up against Eva Marie last week in that horribly botched match. And right before the match, they had a promo with Dana Brooke in a way of trying to set up a potential feud down the road with Bayley in some way, shape, or form. And at least that was what the promo was about, was talking about Bayley, her becoming the NXT Women's Champion, and people saying she's the best, but obviously Dana Brooke thinks she's the best in the NXT area. So, a typical type of promo, nothing special. Her timing on promos is getting a little bit better. It still looks like she's just completely looking away from somebody else. In some way, it's not an aspect that she's just looking away from the camera a little bit. I kind of do. I usually look a little bit away from the camera that I'm recording this on, but it looks like she's just looking off in a completely different direction in some cases. And again, that was how it was here. Her match with Billie in there was was a pretty good one. Good little developmental type match. It wasn't one of those matches that's like, oh, it's over in 3 seconds. It was, both sides kind of got to show a little bit of what they can do. Obviously, they're pushing Dana Brooke, so they're going to have her go over in this case. Nothing too special, but not a bad match either in that sense. And now this brings it to the Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tag Team Tournament. Throughout the show, the first match that they had was Bull Dempsey, Tyler Breeze, and I know they introduced their names, and I believe they're actually big indie stars, but sometimes I'm not too familiar with their names yet. But they did the promo last week with Tyler Breeze, and then setting up the actual first round match going into tonight. And the two, both teams did a pretty good job of doing what they really needed to do here. Obviously, they wanted to get over this new team that's coming in some way, and they also wanted to get across the point of Bull Dempsey and Tyler Breeze not being able to work together at all in any way, shape, or form. So they did a really good job of throwing that out there in the match, like the miscues, everything like that between the two of them. Obviously trying to continue off the feud that they went with when they started this whole Bull Dempsey needs to get fit, or the Bull fit, and now they call it Bull Fit and everything in that aspect. So it's nice to see that they're going to continue on with that and see where they can actually go with that between the two of them. I think we'll be seeing something from them down the road here very soon, and I think they're going to be setting up some kind of at least a feud that goes into the next NXT special, and inside in October. So we'll see how they continue on with that. But afterwards, they decided to. Obviously, they don't have enough time to necessarily do all these matches on the NXT tapings, so they do some of these matches at these tag team matches at the NXT live events, and I'm actually okay with that. I'm actually kind of I find that kind of good. A good way of doing things sometimes, especially when especially if the events would travel even further around. They could do some of these matches in there, and it gives another incentive to actually go to the shows, because you'll see something that kind of pertains to a storyline or pertains to something that's going to happen at the next NXT special in some way, shape, or form. So they showed off the Von Villains versus Blake and Murphy. I wish they would not Blake and Blake and Murphy. Basically the rematch, basically almost like a rematch from the last NXT special. I actually wish they would have saved that one for the tapings instead of having that one be at a live event. And they had Enzo and Cass, and they showed clips. They showed the clips of both of those matches and which team's going on, which would be Enzo and Cass and the Von Villains. The one thing I wish is that they would put the full matches somewhere to actually watch. It's okay to see the clips and everything like that, but I would like to see them actually put up the full matches on there, because they obviously taped the show or taped the matches in there, and it would be nice to be able to maybe go back and watch the full match and see how everything just kind of worked out in general in there, instead of just being able to see the clips. Otherwise, not a bad idea to actually do some of these at the live events, but maybe not always the best idea in some cases either. So this leads into the main event of the night, which they actually taped at one of the bigger arenas with it looks like with right before Superstars in that case as well, which was Finn Balor and Samoa Joe's match. Oh man, why am I actually forgetting? No, I shouldn't be forgetting, because it was the Lucha Dragons. It was Lucha Dragons versus Finn Balor, Samoa Joe. Really, really fun match to watch. It'll be interesting to see how they go along the dynamic in there with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor, and see how long they go with things before maybe kind of building some kind of storyline between the two of them, because the way they're presenting Joe, it's like, oh, he wants to be this good tag team partner and everything like that. He's not even being his normal overly aggressive self in some way here. It's almost like you're itching to see him turn on Finn in some way and to start an actual feud between the two of them. And we're beginning to see that dynamic a little bit. And we'll see if they actually go that route, or if they just decide to go a completely different route somewhere down the road and have them actually winning the tournament or something like that. So, like I said, we'll see where they go with everything with these. Otherwise, storyline-wise, you didn't get a lot of other vignettes throughout the entire show. You did get another vignette for Nia Jax, the new diva coming in. But otherwise, you didn't really get too much in terms of story building in any way in this NXT, which is kind of unfortunate. It doesn't make it necessarily a throwaway show, because you had continuations of this tag tournament and everything in there. So I wouldn't say necessarily a throwaway show, but probably not the best type of show in general for NXT this week. So, I mean, we'll see where they go with everything. I feel like there's a couple little there's obviously a few little snippets of storylines going there. Obviously, they're kind of starting a full thing with Bull Dempsey and Tyler Breeze as well. But you also have little snippets of, okay, maybe Dana Brooke's going to be going up against Bayley soon, or you have that feeling that they're going to do something with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor somewhere down the road. I have the feeling that they're going to, but we'll see if they actually decide to go that route. So, like I said, we'll see where they go with everything. Okay, show this week. Matches really good. Matches were pretty good this week, I would say. I think they did a relatively good job, especially especially the 2 tag matches, and both of the Diva matches were actually pretty good as well. They weren't really botched or anything like that. They had some really good matches, really good work inside of the ring this week. So that is my review for WWE NXT, and I thank you guys for watching.